Hey Irina, lovely to hear from you. Thank you for sending in your next one. I think you are very, very mean to give Vlad that horrible essay about democracy. No wonder you didn't choose that one. I'm not surprised you gave it to him. I felt very sorry for him. Make sure you give him a nice essay next time, poor thing. This is really interesting. It's nice to be able to talk about buildings. The description of where you live, the description of a building, the physical description of what it looks like, and the emotional description of how you feel about it is quite a good test here. So let's listen.
Hi, Daphne. I would like to tell you about Melnikov's house. It is a historical building in the city center of Moscow.
Good. Lovely introduction. Perfect.
In the pedestrian area of the city.
Okay, pedestrian, we say, pedestrian area. Okay, so it can be a pedestrian precinct is what we call a street which literally has no cars and is only for people, or pedestrian zone, pedestrian area is fine.
Well, this house was built by a famous Soviet architect, Melnikov. He got the land from the USSR government for the purpose of building a modern house.
Okay, so the grammar's sounding lovely, really, really good. I love, again, your pronunciation is so beautifully clear.
The USSR government.
Now, you say he got the land. You could change this around and say the land was obtained, or he obtained the land. I think let's try and avoid words like got.
For the purpose of building a modern house on this land. So he constructed a house of oval form, oval shape, and very unusual windows of hexagon shape.
Wow, I'm going to look up this building. I've been talking to a student about the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao. Have a look at that one. So Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao, which is a crazy shape, absolutely amazing, very dramatic. So I'll look up your building.
This house had a study for Melnikov and living area for his family. This building was constructed more than 100 years ago. However, 10 or 15 years ago, it was in a very appalling state.
Okay, that's really sad to hear. You're describing this beautifully. Also, what I really like is that you're using these linking words for the purpose of, however, in order to. This is making it flow really beautifully. You can see it's hard for me to interrupt because the flow is fantastic.
Well, I believe that if the society, if the society hadn't paid attention to this house, this beautiful building could have been destroyed.
Okay, amazing work. Wow, third conditional, very difficult to use. We don't use it very often. We don't hear it very often. Yes, if this building had not been protected, or if awareness had not been raised, this building could or might have been destroyed. What a great structure there.
Totally. Fortunately, now it is included into UNESCO list in order to conserve it and to preserve it to the future generations.
Good. Preserve it for.
So, from my perspective.
Okay, watch out, Irene. Just last thing on there. You need to make sure that you finish. Hang on.
It is very important to preserve historical buildings.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
As an example of authentic architecture. and as an example of art and cultural heirloom.
Yes, cultural heirloom, very good. Yes. Sorry, I paused there because it sounded like you'd finished and then you added this bit in at the end, which you're absolutely right. Yes, absolutely, it's very important. So cultural heirloom, very nice word, difficult word to use. Cultural heirloom, we want the other words which are going to come up in a minute. Heritage, culture, teaches us about our past. Absolutely. That was a really, really high level answer. Excellent, excellent work.
Part 3. Generally, it is believed that providing such attractions is the responsibility of the government. From my perspective, I believe that if there were no such attractions in the city, the tourists' influx would have waned.
Okay, I'm just going to pause there at the moment. A couple of things, okay? Cultural attractions. You're using the word attractions just twice there already. What do we mean? Let's, rather than using that word, let's quickly think, okay, what do you mean? Yeah? So, cultural attractions such as museums and galleries. So, I could either say museums including art exhibitions, or I could use film festivals, or I could say exhibitions or shows in galleries. Quickly, I have to think of some words that I can use instead of this. And on that conditional, I'm not sure if I can go back. On that conditional, you want a second conditional there. Yes, if it wasn't there, people wouldn't know about their heritage.
So, the city authorities should pay attention to protect and to construct brand new attractions in the city.
Oh, I missed that adjective. Something attractions. But you could use words. Let's think how we could describe an exhibition. So, informative, challenging, interesting, stimulating. All these words would be okay with an art exhibition with a wide range of things. They're useful words there. So, useful vocab to describe what the exhibition would be like and the impact it might have on people.
It would be good if the schools included lessons about local history into the curriculum. The first reason for this is that children have to know about their motherland, about their native town, just to raise awareness, loyalty, and even patriotic feelings.
Yes, absolutely. Great vocab there. Really, really lovely. So children from a young age should be educated or even, are excited to learn about. Yeah, absolutely.
Secondly, I believe that such lessons increase the level of assimilation of the families from abroad, like immigrants and even refugees.
That is a really, really interesting point. That's very interesting. I hadn't really thought about that. I mean, I was thinking, funnily enough, people who come to the UK have to do a quiz on the UK. They have to learn about Buckingham Palace, where the Queen lives. So, yes, it increases this idea of loyalty, doesn't it?
Well, if I were among the city authorities, I would definitely take after historical buildings, restore them, and pay attention to its state.
Okay, there's a few things there. You say look after, you said take after. I think you mean look after. But we've got these words like preserve, redevelop even. You could redevelop them, but you can keep the facade, which is to keep the front of them. But we talk about a preservation, either conserve a building or preserve them, or put a preservation order on a building. So there's a few words that you can use there.
At the same time, I believe that there are many families with low income who are in strong need of affordable flats and apartments, and considering the lack of land in some countries like Europe, it is quite relevant to allocate, to destroy all the buildings in devastating state.
Okay, gosh, you're so good. It's lovely listening to you. Right, we wouldn't devastate the buildings. You could repurpose a building. You could reallocate a building. So repurpose or reallocate or redevelop. So this idea of doing it again on the prefix is really important there. People, yes, in dire need. We talk about dire need, D-I-R-E, which means an extreme need of housing or accommodation, affordable accommodation, absolutely.
To build new ones.
Good, really nice answer. I love that.
Generally, it is believed that not only gives art the sense to our lives.
Okay, when you use not only, watch out. So not only, then the verb has to come next. So not only does art in the form of, so expand a little bit here, painting, sculpture, drawing, or even music. So not only does art give our life meaning, but we're going to say that differently. So not only does art allow us to engage with our emotions and understand the world, but basically not only, and then the verb does, and then but, and then a bit later.
But it is also essential for education, for bringing up children. Well, maybe, of course, it distracts us from the real life, especially when people have some anxiety problems or depression. Art can distract them from these problems, but
yeah, definitely. You say art could be a welcome distraction, absolutely, from the stresses and strains of everyday life.
Generally, I believe that art can give us sense and the aim to live and to be more kind, generous, and loving persons.
Really, really nice. That's a lovely answer.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you too. That's a really, really lovely answer. Very full answer. Really nice. Quite useful phrase there that I used. The stresses and strains of everyday life, which incorporates everything that you were saying. The stress, the exhaustion, the routine, that sort of thing. Absolutely. I really, really liked all your speaking. You speak absolutely beautifully, particularly again, really congratulations on such beautiful pronunciation. Very thoughtful answers, very full answers. Really, I love your speed, like you're not rushing, which means it's kind of well developed and it's thought about. This is all exactly how you're going to do super well. Thank you.